Okay, let's continue. The next topic we want to talk about number systems, and well, probably the best number system we know is the 10 base, right? So we call the decimal numbers, and for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10, 11, 12. Okay, so here's a joke. Well, there are 10 kinds of people: those who understand binary and those who don't. So, do you get that? Okay, so if we are talking about binary, that is a two-base number, right? So, in the two-base number system, or in binary numbers, what does 10 mean? 10 means 2, right? So, well, there are 10 kinds of people, but if we are converting the 10 to decimal number and 10 base number, that's a 2. So there are really only two types of people: the people who understand binary and the people who don't, right? Okay, and then we'll also talk about bits and bytes. What's the difference? And then we're going to talk about programming. Okay, so why do we do 10 base numbers? Because this, right? We have 10 fingers. For example, if I'm a person, if I'm a hunter, lived 5,000 BC, and then after when I come back, and my wife may ask me how many rabbits I got today, and if I do this means I got 2 rabbits today. Or if I do 3, I can do 3 like this, or this, or this. I don't know. Well, but anyhow, we have 10 fingers, and this is probably the easiest number system for human being. But why do computers use 2 base? Well, the reason is, well, in the really old computers designed by human beings, they use vacuum tubes or transistors, and that's the generation 1 and generation 2 computers. And for those, well, for each vacuum tubes or each transistor, there are only 2 states, on and off. You can consider them as light bulbs, for example. So there are only two different states, and then, well, this is the reason that we have the 2 base number system in the really old computers. Okay, and this is just a side note. Well, during the Cold War, both United States and Soviet Union were developing their own computer systems, and 3 base numbers were used by Soviet Union when they developed their computer, and they also had this project for a long time. So if you manage to find some really old computer from Soviet Union, and you may have something called 3 base number system. So that's kind of weird, right? Okay, and well, bit, byte, and KB, MB, and you're gonna see those different words a lot. So what is a bit? A bit is just a binary digit, 1 or 0. Okay, and when we put 8 bits together, we got a byte. Okay, bit and byte, they are different. And then when we are talking about the size of a file, we have the KB or MB or GB. So there are kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes. So those are just different sizes of a file. So a KB means a 2 to 10 bytes, and then an MB means a 2 to 20 bytes. Okay, and the programming. So well, of course, when we are writing programs and we are doing some algorithms. Oh, really? This means even if I do something super simple, I can say that's an algorithm. Is that true or false? The answer is true. Okay, so well, when when you see algorithms and you may feel it is something really smart, something really complicated, it doesn't need to be. Well, an algorithm is just a set of the orders describing what a computer should do for us. It can be simple and easy. Well, it can be a sequence of steps, it can be some repetitions, it can be some decision makings. Well, but that is algorithm. So algorithm, it can be something very basic. It doesn't have to be very complicated or super fancy. Okay, and for a program, it's just a list of the instructions telling a computer what to do. So it's like giving the instruction on how I can bake brownie. And as you know, I'm not a good cook at all. But when I am doing brownie, for example, what I'm follow is just the back side of the box. It will give you, well, number 1, heat, number 2, stir, and number 3, bake. So those are some simple steps that everyone can follow, even for me, a terrible cook, right? So programming is also something like that. We are telling a computer what to do step by step to finish a task, and that is the algorithm. And in this class, we are going to use Python, but this Python is just a vehicle for us to learn programming. Okay, so why do we do Python? Well, Python has a lot of the very strong points, and like software quality, developer productivity, portability, the library support, and then the integration. So for the software quality, well, Python is really a readable programming language, and well, I know probably more than half dozen of the programming languages, and I would say, Python, Ruby, those are really readable. So the code itself is readable, and that's very important because when I read some people's code, if the code is not that readable, and then I have to spend even longer time to really figure out what this person mean to do. And Python also is also a object-oriented language, and that is also very important. And for the productivity, well, compared with the old school programming language like C++ or Java, and Python to do the same thing, Python usually can do the same thing using much less lines of code, and that's also very important. And well, portability. This means, well, when we write a program at one place, and then we can just use the code anywhere else, and we don't have to do modifications on the existing code. And libraries. Well, Python supports a lot of the very cool libraries, and using those libraries, we can get more things done. Well, the integration. So we can call other programming languages using Python. So if I'm running Python, but I know there's another part of the program written in other languages, and I can call C, C++, or other languages in Python. So that's also important. And what can I do with Python? The answer is you can do pretty much everything from really low-level shell tools to high-level like database or gaming, and you can do almost everything use Python. Well, so it seems that Python is cool, right? So Python is object-oriented, Python is free, Python is portable, powerful, mixable, and it's easy to use and easy to learn. Isn't that good? So is there anything not so cool with Python? Well, and I would say one thing, probably the most important thing, which is not so cool with Python is not the fastest programming language. So that is the thing you need to keep in mind. So even though Python is still pretty good, Python is not the fastest language. Okay? So, well, who uses Python today? And well, Python is definitely used a lot, and in different industry, and plus, and Python is probably the #1 programming language used by AI engineers. Okay, so if you are interested in doing AI, and definitely you want to learn Python. Okay, so well, Canvas. Okay, so our course materials are all on Canvas. So Canvas is definitely the website you need to know, and go ahead and click on this link, and then well, after you log in, and you should be able to find our Canvas, our course on Canvas.